At the start of the season, the Americans' bats were on fire, averaging 11 runs over the first 6 games. However, the Double Days were able to silence them, allowing just 8 total runs over the course of their home-and-home sweep. Today, the Bats will look to get right against a struggling Ironbacks team that's won just 1 game. It's the Americans, it's the Ironbacks, it's PGCBL baseball right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league low 2.71 earned run.
They chose Niagara Falls because of the stadium, because of the history, because they believe in Niagara Falls.
Tickets 716-215-6161.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby, go.
Come here,
go,
fence!
Baby.
That ball is way out of here.
Welcome back into the barbershop as the Ironbacks take on the Americans. I'm Andrew Roberts. I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster for the entire season, and we'll wait a second on the PGCBL standings as the game is just about to get underway, but we'll give you our American starting pitcher making his debut as a Niagara Falls American. It's John Ondas over at Niagara, a 6.14 ERA, 8 strikeouts. And that is in Division I. Redshirted his freshman year after Tommy John surgery and bounced back pretty quickly in his freshman year. His true freshman year here in 2025. And leading off here for the Ironbacks is going to be Chase Hubble, who drives it up the middle for the base hit. So a runner on early here will get you the Ironbacks lineup in just a moment here. But a runner on to start the game here for the Canadian Niagara team. In this battle for the Falls, the Americans lead the season series 2-0. It's going to be USA versus Canada all year long. Which side of the Falls is better at baseball? And that is an inside ball 1 to the number 2 hitter in the Ironbacks lineup, Marcus Butts. Ondas checks on Hubble at first. Now delivers. That is another one driven deep into left field, and Carmen Panaro will chase it down for out number 1. Hubble holding up at first base, and it's 1 on, 1 out, as Alex Keene, arguably the most talented hitter in this Ironbacks lineup, comes up to bat. The 263 hitter with a 732 OPS on the year. But over at Moorhead State, batted .309 with a 994 OPS. Some incredible numbers over there. And first pitch to him from Ondas on the way in just a moment. Fouled off behind him for strike 1. Runner on is Chase Hubble, who led off the game with a single. We've got some Star Wars tunes playing here at the barbershop. As the 0-1 comes from Ondas outside to even up the count. Ones across the boards. Balls, strikes, and outs. And John Ondas looking to enter the PGCBL with a bang. He comes here from Niagara University, joins the team with some familiar faces, and takes strike 2. Or rather, gives strike 2 to Alex Keene. But John Ondas joining 4 of his college teammates on the Americans. 2 of them are out on defense right now. Second baseman Ian Huang and left fielder Carmen Paneras. It's a swing and miss for strike 3. Alex Keene, the first strikeout victim of John Ondas. So Ondas with his first strikeout on the season for out number 2. And next up is Andrew Bishop, the first baseman for the Ironbacks, a 118 hitter on the year. Looking to get that average up. And it's the second lefty in a row that Ondas will see. Takes strike one. So 2 down, and the runner on first is Chase Hubble. Led this inning off with a single for those of you just tuning in. Got off to an early start here at Sal Magley. And runner goes. The throw to second is not there. Goes past Alan Ramos, who comes over from shortstop to cover. And that is going to be ruled a stolen base for Chase Hubble. So Hubble takes second, and the Ironbacks have a runner in scoring position early. With an even count. Ondas staring down his batter. Now checks back on Hubble at second. The pitch outside to make it 2-1. And Andrew Bishop will take another one in the outside corner to make it a 3-1 count. Bishop from Georgia Highlands University batted .365 at his junior college, but hasn't seen the same success yet here. And that is going to be in that same spot outside corner to walk Andrew Bishop. Carter Shin will come on with 2 on and 2 out. Shin, the .214 hitter, DHing today. He's played a lot in the infield for these Ironbacks, including shortstop, where Caden Wilson will play tonight. And he takes an inside ball. Ondas trying to shut this inning down despite some traffic on the base paths. Both runners have a lead, and it's another drive into the outfield. Looks like it's going to drop in the gap for a base hit and more. And Shin coming around to second. 1 run will score. Stop sign at third base will keep this at a 1-0 lead for the Ironbacks. It's their second hit of the night. And John Ondas with some trouble in his first inning of work, as Carter Shin will pick up the double. Shin, that's his first extra base hit on the season. And Brock Granger will be up next, the catcher for these Ironbacks tonight. John Ondas sets and delivers the first pitch. Finds the outside corner of the strike zone for strike 1. Ondas has had to face a lot of lefties tonight. Usually, batter gets the advantage in that right versus left matchup. Pitch from Ondas. Swing and a miss to make it 1-2, or 0-2 rather. And our scoreboard was down here at Sal Magley, but is back up and running. Amazing to see. As John Ondas is 1 strike away from stopping this parade at 1. And that is line down the third base line. Will drop foul. Runners have to go back. Shin on second after the double. Bishop on third. Hubble scored on that double to make it 1-0 Ironbacks in this top of the first inning. Ironbacks have yet to get a win against the Americans this season, so this would be a big one for them. The pitch from Ondas, fouled off again. And the Americans started their season 6-0. Just got swept by the Doubledays in a home-and-home to go down to 6-2, but looking to get right in this one. And get some more wins on the board. It was night and day with the offense. Win streak versus the last two. 11 runs a game down to 4. The pitch from Ondas, driven up the middle, and Grant Moore will come in to make the basket catch for out number 3. So that'll be it for the top half of the first inning. We'll keep it here and give you the lineups for both squads here as we wait to begin the bottom of the first inning. So the rest of the Ironbacks lineup, as you saw, Chase Hubble led off in center field. Marcus Butts, the extra hitter, batting second. Alex Keene, Andrew Bishop, Carter Shin in the 3, 4, 5 spots. Brock Granger doing the catching, bat 6. The bottom 4 of the lineup that you will see most likely in that second inning: Bryce Bedrosian at third base, Grayson Briggs in left field, Caden Wilson the shortstop, and Jack Sarkuri at second base. Brock Granger, the leader in most statistical categories so far for the Ironbacks, batting .357 and the .924 OPS. We'll flip it over to the Americans lineup. Grant Moore going to be the leadoff hitter per usual in center field, batting first. Ian Huang batting second and playing second. Nick Pass doing the catching tonight, bats third. Paul Delanto back in that cleanup spot and DHing. Graydon Miller down to the 5 spot, but still playing first base. Carmen Panaro will start tonight, bats 6th, playing left. Gazaldo, the extra hitter, bats 7th. Shane Prey batting 8th. Alan Ramos back in the lineup, this time at shortstop. And Tommy Mathey to round things out, moving over to right field. And they will be facing the opening day starter for the Ironbacks, making his second start of the year, Ethan Wolf. Wolf is 0-1 on the year with a 13.50 ERA. Comes from Three Rivers Community College, where he started 9 games and struck out 26. But in this inning, it'll be Grant Moore, Ian Huang, and Nick Pass to start things off for the Americans. We'll also take a quick look here at the PGCBL standings. The Pilots have taken first place over after the losses by the Americans. Tarp Skunks, Muck Dogs, and Doubledays battling for those last 2 playoff spots and knocking on the door of Niagara Falls and Newark. Elmira up to 2-4 after a split with the Muck Dogs in the doubleheader. Ironbacks at 1-5 looking for their second win, and the Red Wings, the only winless team remaining, at 0-7. So here comes Grant Moore into the lefty batter's box to start things off here in the bottom of the first. Americans are down 1-0 after giving up the RBI double to Carter Shin in the first inning. And first pitch from Wolf is fouled off by Grant Moore for strike 1. Americans bats looking to get back in the swing of things here against the Ironbacks, but Grant Moore has been consistent. .464 batting average, 1226 OPS, and an 8-game hit streak. The pitch up and away to even up the count. Moore has 2 triples on the year, 11 steals, so plenty of speed on the base paths as well. The pitch, another one fouled off to make it 1-2. Grant Moore looking to climb out of this 1-2 hole. We'll see what Wolf has in store for him right here. No relation to manager Paul Wolf. Fouled sharply down the third base line to keep Grant Moore alive in this at-bat. Moore, the PGCBL Position Player of the Week last week. The pitch. Another one upstairs to even up the count. So the off-speed pitch actually looked even higher. Sunk a little bit. But still a ball. The pitch outside to fill up the count. Grant Moore looking to extend that hit streak to 9. It's lasted the entire season thus far. Payoff pitch from Wolf is driven right back to Wolf, and Grant Moore is going to reach here So the Americans have a base runner early in this game. We'll get word on the official call in just a moment. But Ian Huang up to bat and hoping to advance Grant Moore. But possible Moore can do some of that work himself. He's stolen a lot of bases, as I mentioned. And Grant Moore going to get credit for the single, so his hit streak extends to 9 indeed as Huang fouls off the first pitch. With Moore on base and nobody out. Huang, one of those players coming from Niagara University, will be transferring, but spent his freshman year there. The pitch as Moore goes on the foul ball. He's going to have to go back. But he was speeding towards second base, made a decision, and had that not been fouled off, would have been an easy stolen base for Grant Moore. Huang trying to climb out of this 0-2 hole. Snapped out of a slump with a double last night. And the pitch is going to be driven right to the second baseman. Curry will send it to second. Oh, it's right past him. And Grant Moore is in a pickle. Did he get in there? They'll call him safe at third base. Runners on the corners. Nobody retired. Wow. So Huang will reach on what is ruled a fielder's choice. And Grant Moore avoiding the tag to get the third base. If anybody was going to get out of a pickle, get out of a rundown, it's Grant Moore. Came pretty close earlier this season, but ended up getting caught stealing for the first time. And Nick Past up next, takes ball one. 286 hitter, 818 OPS, has driven in 5 runs, 2 of them coming on a triple in the opening game of the season, but he swings and misses to make it 1-1 with nobody out. Runners on the corners. As Past has the bat over his shoulder, ready for the 1-1. Here's the pitch. And that goes in the low outside corner for ball 2. Nick Past, certainly a capable hitter, looking to drive in the run right here for RBI number 6. Takes the ball in the dirt. If he walks here, that's bases loaded for Paul Delanto, and you know what happened a couple days ago when Delanto had those loaded bases. Grand slam. The pitch is another one outside, and indeed Nick Past will take a walk. Paul Delanto will come into a good situation here, but certainly a rough one for pitcher Ethan Wolf. It's been 3 up, 3 on for these Ironbacks, and Ethan Wolf going to be met with on the mound. Just 3 batters in. Wolf in his first start went just 3 1/3 innings and gave up 5 earned runs. Walked 5 batters, gave up 3 hits, and did not strike out anybody. So Wolf has had a rough start to his season, and it's continued thus far tonight against the Americans, who have the bases juiced for their biggest power bat, arguably, in Paul Delanto, rather. Delanto, the 1069 OPS, 8 RBIs, will take a ball up and away. And interestingly, now the runner's taking a little bit more of a lead, but it was not much of a lead in the beginning for the base runners. 2 balls and no strikes on Delanto. And it'll be interesting to see here how much patience Delanto shows, because he had a lot of confidence after that home run, but then showing some more patience after a couple of strikeouts on Thursday against Auburn. Takes the strike on the outside corner. Delanto walks, 1-run scores, but knowing Delanto's bat can do a lot more damage. We'll have to see the direction he goes here. Manager Will Cordero implemented some new signs from third base that batters are going to have to keep their eye on here for the Americans. So that should impact Delanto's decision on the 3-1 here. Drives that up the middle. That's going to be into center field and caught for the out. Tagging up is Grant Moore. And that throw will not even be close, as the run scores to tie up the game on the sac fly. The Americans answer right back after giving up a run in the top of the first. It's a tie ball game. And just one hit to get there. A single, a reach on a fielder's choice, a walk, and then a sac fly. As it's 2 ducks on the pond for Graydon Miller. A wild pitch on the ball. Both runners will advance. Now 2 runners in scoring position for Graydon. Product of Drury University in his second year with the Americans. This year batting .222 with a .639 OPS. Looking to get closer to his 2024 numbers, .287 and .832. But right now, up 2 balls in the count. That first one went wild to advance both runners. Nick Past is on second. Ian Huang is on third. Here's the pitch. That'll get in there. Finds the outside edge of the zone to make it 2-1. Ethan Wolf only has recorded 1 out so far, and it was a sac fly. That's even further outside. Now it's 3-1, and a walk would load the bases back up for the second time tonight and bring up Panaro. And Panaro had a very successful sacrifice bunt last night, but not something you necessarily want to do with the runner on third trying to come home. That is driven into left field. It'll drop fair for the base hit. Moore going to end up with a double. 2 runs will score. Graydon Miller with a huge knock to put the Americans up 3-1. Graydon Miller, he's had plenty of power all along, just looking to cash in with that big extra base hit. It's his first time getting to extra bases all season long. He's had 4 other hits, but that's his first double. And now Carmen Panaro up with the runner on second. And just 1 down as he takes one on a close shave for ball 1. Panaro looking for his first hit of the season. Has reached base a couple times. .286 on base percentage. And takes the strike on the low outside corner. One's across the board now. Ball strikes outs. Panaro looking to drive in Graydon Miller, who just had his first double of the season. And it's an inside ball 2 to put the count in Panaro's favor. Graydon Miller with RBIs number 5 and 6 of the season on that big knock down the third base line. And Wolf will check on him at second base, getting a bigger and bigger lead, but he delivers on the low inside ball 3. Wolf has struggled to throw strikes most of the night here. And And in this battle for the Falls, the Americans have the edge right now. Now full count, strike two. Finds the outside part of the plate. Panaro played the first game of the season in right field, made a pitching appearance at George Taylor Field against these Ironbacks, now in left tonight, and it's way outside. And Ethan Wolf will walk Panaro. Next up is Chris Gazaldo. That's Wolf's second walk allowed tonight. Also giving up 2 hits. That leadoff single by Moore and the double by Miller. And Gazaldo is 1 for his last 10, looking to snap out of the cold spell here after he started the season with 3 consecutive games of multiple hits. Right now, 1 ball on the count for him. And Wolf checks on second base again. That goes outside to make it 2-0. Gazaldo, 304 hitter on the year, but his OPS down to 664 after a hitless night in Auburn. Takes the strike on the outside edge of the plate. And Gazaldo struck out twice last night, looking to avoid the same fate here at Sal Magley. The Americans have had 5 different batters and with multiple strikeouts over the past couple nights, as it's a wild ball 3 to advance. Both runners and Gazaldo now in the same situation Graydon Miller found himself in, with 2 runners in scoring position. We'll have to see if Gazaldo will have the same success knocking these runners in, and what the approach is on this 3-1 pitch. Wolf sets, now delivers. It's a pop foul into the stands for strike 2. Fills up the count on Gazaldo. Big moment here for Ethan Wolf. Force play at first, now unavailable after the wild pitch with 1 down. Here it is, payoff pitch, check swing, and he went. So Gazaldo with his 3rd strikeout in 2 games, despite the runners in scoring position. Shane Prey will be next up to try and knock him in, but now 2 down. That was a critical strikeout for Ethan Wolf. It's his first of the entire season in 2 starts. But throws an outside ball 1 to Shane Prey. Americans have retaken the lead after a 1-0 deficit. Score 3 in this bottom of the first inning. And have matched the Ironbacks on hits 2-2. That's an inside ball 2 to Prey. A walk would load the bases. Americans have already had a lot of traffic on the base pass tonight as the pitch is driven up the middle into center field, and coming in to make the catch is Chase Hubble. So the Americans strand 2 but score 3. We'll head to the top of the second inning after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the top of the second inning here from Sal Magley Stadium. Americans retake the lead 3-1 in this second inning. Is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. And Ethan Wolf in that first inning, throwing over 40 pitches to those Americans. So already seeing a lot of work just one inning in. He only won 3 1/3 his last time out, so looking to beat that, but the odds are not looking great given how that inning went. And Bryce Bedrosian will be first up to face John Ondas in this second inning. Grayson Briggs and Caden Wilson also due up. And that is on the outside edge of the strike zone. Ondas had some traffic on the base paths in the first inning, gave up a run, but looking to settle in here in this top of the second. The newest Niagara Falls American will throw a ball outside. The count is even on Bedrosian. Bedrosian without a hit on the year. One of 2 Ironbacks in this lineup without one, Caden Wilson being the other. Swing and a miss for strike 2. I mean, the Americans also have 2 guys without a hit in their lineup, those being Panaro and Alan Ramos, but certainly had better fate at the plate to start the season. That's a foul ball into the stands over this press box. Our DJ tonight, Avery Vogt, filling in for DJ Cam, so not here for color commentary, but claiming he had the ball. And that is the foul tip by Bedrosian to keep him alive in the at-bat despite the 1-2 hole. John Ondas struck out 1 in the first inning, looking for his second. And it's an outside ball 2 as Bedrosian keeps battling in this at-bat. Looking to improve upon his .077 OPS and on-base percentage. Another foul tip. Grayson Briggs in the on-deck circle, a 182 hitter. So Ondas looking to get through this bottom of the order cleanly, hopefully. And here's the 2-2. Chopper heads right to Graydon Miller. He bobbles it. And that's going to be an error on Miller to get the runner on first for the Ironbacks. Bryce Bedrosian does get on base, but it is not his first hit. Batting average still at 0, but it doesn't matter right now for the team as they have a runner on first for Grayson Briggs. Ondas will check on him. And now deliver. Swing and a miss, a big cut by Briggs for strike 1. As the Eagles sounding here at the barbershop. Ondas checks the runner again in his blind spot as a right-hander. And that'll be strike 2, so Briggs already in an 0-2 hole here. Whitby, Ontario native. The Ontario Prospects alum. And fouls it off. And his brother, Riley Briggs, plays for the Scarborough Stingers with our very own Canadian intern, Teddy Yo. So, and we've got action in the bullpen for the Ironbacks as ball 1 goes to Grayson Briggs. That reliever is Caleb Sagan. Sagan would be making his first appearance of the year for the Ironbacks. A foul tip, and Bedrosian was looking for second base, but going to have to go back. So it's the 1-2 count. As Sagan warms up in the pen, we'll see if Ethan Wolf's day will be done after just 1 inning. And that is popped up foul. Passed, sliding for it, but it'll go out of play. Appears it dropped into the Americans' dugout. And we'd like to thank all our fans for tuning in tonight to the live stream. We've got fans from all over the country, even California. As a viewer is commenting in our live chat, Ondas ready to deliver the 1-2. It goes outside to even up the count on Briggs. So 1 on, nobody out in this top of the second. Ondas delivers. Full count on Briggs. Over at Hawking Community College, batted .282, 826 OPS. Looking to get his numbers closer to that here for the Ironbacks. But fouls another pitch off, and Bedrosian keeps running on these foul balls. Probably would have a stolen base by now if not for the contact made. In the on-deck circle now is Caden Wilson. The pitch outside, and Ondas will walk another here to make it first and second. John Ondas walking his second batter in just 2 innings as Caden Wilson will look to drive in the new runner in scoring position, Bryce Bedrosian. Wilson also looking for his first hit of the season. Does have an RBI. And the bunt thrown to first, and he is safe. Run coming around to score. Ironbacks cut the lead to 1, make it 3-2 with runners on first and second. As on the bunt, Caden Wilson will beat out Graydon Miller for his first hit of the entire season. Comes off of the new American John Ondas. It's the 3rd hit for the Ironbacks on the day. Ironically, the run total, a complete inverse of that. 3 for the Americans and 2 for the Ironbacks. Americans also have an error on the day. Ondas checks second base, and another bunt shown, this time by Jacksar Curry, as it's ball 1. He pulls it away as it appeared to be an unhittable pitch. And now another bunt shown. This time it goes foul to even up the count. Ironbacks playing small ball here with 2 runners on. Hoping to get them both in scoring position for the leadoff man, Chase Hubble. Getting ready to come up for the 2nd time tonight. But our Curry at the plate first takes the strike to make it 1-2. That's in the low outside corner. Hubble led off this game with a hit. If he gets a second knock off of Ondas, it could drive in some runs, regardless of what our Curry does here. And that is an inside ball 2 to even up the count. 2 ducks on the pond, and Jacksar Curry, the .333 hitter, looking to cash in here for the Ironbacks. That's a chopper, and Prey will field it, tries for the out at second, and he'll get it. But runners on the corners as the fielder's choice will retire the first batter of the inning for the Ironbacks. Chase Hubble now has runners on the corners with 1 down, looking to tie the game. The runner on third, representing the tying run. Oh! And Chase Hubble is hit in the head. That'll load the bases. But he'll get checked out for a moment here by manager Richard Griffin. He'll be okay. He's going to take his base. Glad he's all right. Get some cheers from the audience, but Ondas hoping to refine his command of the strike zone here as Marcus Butts comes up. Our Curry on second base now. Wilson on third, and Chase Hubble, after getting hit, takes first. Now he's getting checked out a little bit more. We'll have to see if he stays in the game. Seemed all right, but getting looked at again. Just hoping either way, whether he's in the game or not, that he avoided any head injury. And now Marcus Butts with the bases loaded and one down. Force play is available for Ondas, but has to force some soft contact here with one down. And there's some contact. Prey will try the throw home. There's going to be a couple of runs coming in here for the Ironbacks. So it'll just be one run, rather. The first run coming in was tagged out, and then the second run coming in after the try for the out at first base. So runners on second and third now, and a tie ball game. We'll wait for the call from our scorer here, but Keene up to bat now with two runners in scoring position. Looking to give the Ironbacks the lead. They have it tied at 3 in what's been a slugfest thus far through 2 innings. So it'll go down to the fielder's choice for Marcus Butts. He's safe at second. And Hubble is now at third as it's 1-1 with 2 down to Alex Keene. Keene, 263 hitter coming into this game. Takes ball 2. His average has gone down slightly after he struck out his first time up. And here it comes from Ondas. Another low ball to put the count well in the favor of Alex Keene. A walk here would load the bases. Would be Ondas' third walk allowed today. And there it is. Bases are loaded. For the cleanup hitter, Andrew Bishop, we'll see if he can do just that. He did walk his first time up, so a walk here would actually give the Ironbacks the lead if he can pull that off again. But John Ondas giving up his third walk. There is some action in the pen for the Americans. We'll see if a pitching change is made here as Will Cordero meets with Ondas on the mound. Ondas has recorded 5 outs in this game. And he will hang in there for the time being as the meeting disperses. And it's bases loaded, 2 outs. Big moment for John Ondas against these Ironbacks in what has been a very high-scoring affair early on. The 3 runs for the Americans win all these fans in the stands a free McCafe frap, but the Americans hoping to keep their runs allowed down as this one's driven to Alan Ramos. He'll try for the tag at second, then throws to first. So ends up getting out number 3 after hesitating to throw. But we'll head to the bottom of the second with a tie ball game as the Ironbacks strand the bases loaded. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the bottom of the second in this high-scoring affair. And due up for the Americans in this inning will be the bottom of the order. Alan Ramos, Tommy Mathey, and then it'll be back to the top with Grant Moore. But the Ironbacks scoring 2 more runs in that top of the second inning. Andrew Bishop grounding out on the final out of the inning with the bases loaded. As Ethan Wolf, for the time being, will keep pitching for these Ironbacks. And this season, you could get yourself the latest Americans gear, hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, baseballs, and much, much more. Stop by the merchandise stand, buy concessions anytime during home games here at Sal Magley. But for now, it's Alan Ramos up to bat, looking for his first hit as he faces Ethan Wolf. And Ramos shows bunt, but the pitch goes over his head. He's ducking it on ball 1. Alan Ramos, a Wagner commit, comes from the Bronx and lines it down the first base line. It's caught by Andrew Bishop for out number 1. Ramos on just 2 pitches retired here. Tommy Mathey will follow him up. One of a handful of Panola guys here on the team. The only one playing the field today, but Chris Gazaldo, his college teammate, is in the lineup. It was nice for them all to have some familiar faces coming in here to Sal Magley, but strike 1 finds the corner against Mathey. Ethan Wolf had a rough first inning, looking to recover here in the second, but wildly outside to even up the count. Ones across the board, ball strikes outs. And Tommy Mathey had his first hit of the season last night, looking to build on that momentum. Ball 2 goes low to him, so count in his favor now. Mathey, 296 hitter over at Panola, will have a chopper right to the first baseman, Bishop, and circling around to tag the base for out number 2. Bishop took his time but made the tag. And here comes Grant Moore, led off the game with a single. Looking to add to that. So his hit streak now up to 9 games as he takes the ball outside with 2 down. This bottom of the order looking to get going here, but Grant Moore has certainly been leading the charge at the top. 464 batting average coming in. It'll be even higher after that leadoff single. 1-1 with 2 down. Here's the pitch. Another outside ball to make it 2-1. More comes from Ohio, Mount Vernon Nazarene University. And it's a high fly ball into right field. Alex Keene is going to be there to make the catch for out number 3. Led to the top of the 3rd inning after the break. Still tied here at Sal Magley.
You know, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks,
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the 3rd inning here at Sal Magley Stadium. It's knotted at 3 between the Americans and Ironbacks in this battle for the Falls. And this 3rd inning is sponsored by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, the official pizza of the Americans, and McDonald's. And all fans here in the ballpark will get a free McCafe frap as the Americans scored 3 in the very 1st inning. Also, keep your eyes out for the return of the snack wrap coming July 10th. I'm personally very excited for that one. But Carter Shin will bat first here for the Ironbacks in this inning. Up after him will be Brock Granger and Bryce Bedrosian, as it's the middle of the order here for the Ironbacks. And John Ondas will hang in there for his 3rd inning of work. Ondas has given up 3 runs in 2 innings, looking to put up his first scoreless inning of the game, but throws ball 1 a bit inside and upstairs to Carter Shin. Brock Granger on deck. Shin singled his first time up, or rather doubled, but the fly ball will be caught for out number 1 by Tommy Mathey in right field. So Shin now 1 for 2 on the night.
Now batting the catcher, number 20, Brock Granger.
As Brock Granger comes up next. 0 for 1 tonight, but came into the game leading the team in batting average at .357. Granger, a Toronto Mets alum, and he takes a strike 1 on the low edge of the zone. Comes from Panola College, and as you know, a lot of Americans on that team, they were excited to see him. He came early to the game to spend some time with them all before warm-ups. And that one goes high and away to make it 1-1. So 1s across the board now as Granger steps back into the batter's box. We'll have to see how this battle with John Ondas goes. Driven into right field, and it'll be caught by Mathey again. He's been busy out in right field. 2 up, 2 down, both at the mercy of Tommy Mathey. And Bedrosian up next, the 3rd baseman for the Ironbacks tonight, as John Ondas looks to send them packing 1-2-3 in this top of the 3rd. Americans don't look to have bullpen action at the moment, so putting trust in Ondas in this 3rd inning as ball 1 goes outside to Bedrosian. Ironbacks lost last night to the Pilots at home. 10-6 was the final score. As strike one finds the outside part of the plate. Bedrosian still looking for that first hit. Caden Wilson got his. And that is fouled back behind the plate to make it 1-2. And Bedrosian's teammate Carter Shin, who flew out to start the inning, will come to collect the baseball. Here's the 1-2, a swing and a miss. John Ondas, another strikeout as we head to the bottom of the third with a tie ball game. John Ondas, his first scoreless frame of the game. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Back for the bottom of the third inning as we had a Sammy's Pizza giveaway here at Sal Magley's Sammy's Pizza, the official pizza of the Americans, and you can buy it at concessions along with lots of other delicious food, hot dogs, pretzels, you name it. But here in the bottom of the third, we want to remind you that American season tickets are just $99. Come be a part of the fun this summer at Sal Magley. Stop by the concession stands at any home game and pick up your season tickets today to be a part of this historic season in Niagara Falls. So it's a tie ball game as Ian Huang will be first up for the Americans here, followed by Nick Past and Paul Delanto. Grant Moore retired on the final out of the second inning, so it'll be the 2-3-4 of the Niagara Falls lineup here to face the Ironbacks. And Ethan Wolf will start his third inning of work as Huang fouls it off for strike one. Wolf had a 40-plus pitch first inning and made quick work in the second to sort of recover from that. The 0-1 is driven down the third base line, way foul though. So Ian Huang has an 0-2 hole to climb out of here. We'll see what his approach is here. Cordero signaling over to him from third base. As he has been all game, the pitch is going to be driven down the third base line. Again, this one a little closer, but still in foul territory. So Ian Huang was able to make contact on a couple of pitches here, and possible he'll keep doing that to get Wolf tired out, but an outside ball will make it 1-2. Huang starting to battle back in this at-bat. Wolf delivers on the 1-2. That's even further outside. I mean, if it keeps going at this rate, the next one will be on the outside edge of the righty batter's box, but we'll see how Wolf recovers from those two balls. On the 2-2 pitch, driven into left field. Briggs backing up, and he will make the grab for out number one. Has to reach up for it in the sun, but he'll still make it. Has been playing great defense for these Ironbacks all season long out and left, but Nick Past up next to face Wolf with one down. First pitch to Nick Past goes on the low edge of the zone for strike one. passed on the night is 0 for 0. He walked and then scored on the 2-run knock by Graydon Miller. But it's a 1-1 count to him. Another one goes outside. That puts the count in his favor for the first time in this at-bat. Pass comes all the way from Florida, Eastern Florida State University. Spent his first 2 years there. We'll see where he ends up after this, but the line drive into left field for the base hit. Pass will hang at first base as Briggs serves as the cutoff man on the 3rd hit of the night for the Americans. So now identical amounts on the scoreboard in the run and hit column for both these teams. 3 is a magic number here tonight at Sal Magley. And what do you know, the bottom of the 3rd inning. As another line drive will head into right field this time for the base hit and more. Delanto headed towards second. Throw coming in from Keene, and now coming home. And just in time to score is Nick Past. It's an RBI double by Paul Delanto. And the Americans now get their totals up to 4. 4 hits, 4 runs, and the 4-3 lead. Paul Delanto continuing to show off his power with a speedy line drive into deep right field. Graydon Miller will have the chance to knock in Delanto. Already has 1 extra base hit tonight. That was his first of the season. The pitch goes outside and bounces in the dirt, but Delanto will hold up at second base. Delanto has tried at times to take bases, but not known for his steals in the way that guys like Grant Moore, Brady Bowles are, even Ian Huang at times. That's fouled off down the third base line to even up the count. It's 1s across the board as Graydon Miller, the second-year American, looks to drive in Delanto for his 3rd RBI of the night. Had 2 runners in scoring position his first time up. And knocked them both in. Strike 2 finds the outside corner. Ethan Wolf looking for another strikeout. He came into this game with 0 and has struck out 1 tonight. Miller, the foul tip behind him to stay alive here. And those 5th and 6th RBIs have him approaching the top of the team leaderboard in RBIs. Delanto has 9 after that double. Actually 10. He has 2 on the night. But another ball will go outside and in the dirt. Delanto still holding at second. He's been very careful after he got caught stealing earlier this season. But when he's lacked on the base path, he's certainly made up for in power. And the 2-2 pitch as Wolf checks the runner is popped foul. Graydon Miller making this a long at bat against Ethan Wolf. It's what you want to do against a pitcher who had a 40-plus pitch first inning. Looking to knock this guy out of the game. And there's still some movement in the Ironbacks pen at this moment. But the 2-2 pitch from Wolf will be driven into center field. Rather, drops as more of a pop-up into the glove of the shortstop, Caden Wilson, for out number 2. So 2 down on the pop-out by Miller. He's now 1 for 2 on the night. And Carmen Panaro up next. This would be a big moment for his first hit of the year. He's walked tonight in his only time up. Wolf checking on Delanto. Bigger and bigger lead at second base. And the foul ball down the third base line by Panaro as Delanto hurries back and now retakes his advantage at second. Third baseman Bryce Bedrosian playing in here. Wolf pitching, and that is lined into left field. It'll drop for the hit. And coming in to score is Paul Delanto on the first hit of the season by Carmen Panaro. 5 hits, 5 runs for the Americans. They have a 2-run lead once again after taking it 3-1 in the first inning. And the Americans have never failed to put up plenty of runs against these Ironbacks as Gazaldo takes one near his helmet for ball 1. 2 down, the runner on first. Now the only runner on base is Carmen Panaro, who just had his first hit of the season. Panaro, this is his second start as a hitter. Also made 1 pitching appearance and 1 pinch hitting appearance. Appears he will be used primarily as an outfielder moving forward for these Americans as the pickoff attempt at first base is unsuccessful. Panaro sliding back in with 2 balls and no strikes on the count. Here it comes. And that was a check swing, but ball 3. Gazaldo now 1 for his last 11. Looking to snap out of this. Here's the 3-0. Taken for strike 1 on the inside corner. Panaro has a lead on first and takes off on the 3-1 as Gazaldo sends it into right field for the base hit. And Panaro slides into third. Gazaldo was slightly off the bag for a moment there, but no tag, no out. And Gazaldo singles to make it runners on the corners for Shane Prey. Prey is 0 for 1 on the night. Now a meeting on the mound. This might be it for Ethan Wolf. He's gone 2 2/3, and he will walk off after giving up 5 runs to these Americans. Every single one of those is earned, as the Ironbacks did not make an error in these first 3 innings thus far. New pitcher coming in right now. We'll get you word on who it is. Likely Caleb Sagan, who was warming up, but
Now pitching for the Ironbacks, number 9, Caleb Seguin.
it is indeed Caleb Sagan.
Hey fans, it's a great time to visit the
And Michael Nightingale, the Ironbacks pitching coach, returns to the dugout after making the pitching change. This is Sagan's first appearance as an Ironback. And he comes from Fanshawe University in Canada. A Welland, Ontario native. And in 14 2/3 innings for Fanshawe, went 1-1 with a 5.73 ERA and 22 punch-outs. So plenty of swing and miss stuff, but we'll see if he's able to get the results here on the mound against Shane Prey. Americans retake the lead in this bottom of the third. They're up 5-3. Put up their 4th, 5th, and 6th hits in this inning.
And again, fans, not to be a nudge, but don't forget to get your 50/50 tickets. Proceeds today go to Lewiston Dance, and we will
Actually put up their 3rd knock as well. Past Delanto, Panaro, and Gazaldo, all getting a hit in this inning. Delanto, the only one that went extra bases, but nonetheless, 2 runs have scored as Sagan warms up to face Shane Prey. in this righty-on-righty matchup. Prey 0 for 1 on the night. Would be Alan Ramos to follow him if Prey reaches base. Here he is, the product of SUNY Fredonia. Shane Prey comes up to bat. Was a 176 hitter at Fredonia, but has had better results here. 294 with a 686 OPS. As Gazaldo takes off for second, but he will be caught stealing. That'll end the inning. And the Americans do strand runners on the corners, but nonetheless, they score 2 to take back the lead. Have 4 hits in the inning. And we will be right back with the 4th inning.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
This 4th inning is sponsored by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, by Johnny Ryan, and by Coca-Cola. Get your Coke products down at concessions here at Sal Magley at every single home game. So John Ondas coming back out to keep pitching. The Americans' staff is a little tired out after the 5th consecutive game day. They'll have a 6th consecutive tomorrow when they take on the Elmira Pioneers on the road at Dunn Field. First pitch will be at 4 p.m. from Elmira. We'll have all the coverage right here on the Americans Baseball Network. And John Ondas will see Grayson Briggs to lead off the inning. And Caden Wilson and Jack Sarkuri also due up. It's the bottom of the order here for the Ironbacks. And Caden Wilson had his first hit as an Ironback off of John Ondas a couple innings ago. Was part of that 2-run rally to tie things up for the Ironbacks in the 2nd inning. But John Ondas seems to be settling in here. Had a scoreless 3rd. Looking to do the same here in the 4th. As Shane Prey, his 3rd baseman, will hand him the baseball. And our own mascot, Apollo, was drawn out by home plate by a couple of young fans. Ground ball, dribbles into the glove of Ramos and to Miller for out number 1. So the 6-3 ground out will retire Grayson Briggs. And Caden Wilson, looking for his 2nd hit of the night and 2nd hit of the season, will be up next. Playing shortstop tonight, Carter Shin has gotten a lot of games there as well, but he's the DH, and Wilson filling in at short. First pitch from Ondas goes low and inside for ball 1. First out came on the 6-3 ground out just a moment ago for those of you just tuning in. And the 1-0 finds the bottom edge of the strike zone to even up the count at 1. It's 1s across the board to Caden Wilson. Got his first hit and 2nd RBI as an Ironback in the 2nd inning. And he takes ball 2 outside. Comes from Jamestown Community College. And he's here with one of his teammates, Jack Sarkuri, who will bat right after him. So it's a Jamestown Community College combo to finish out this order for the Ironbacks. On the 3-1 pitch, that'll find the outside corner to fill up the count. There's also a Jamestown Community College player on the Americans, that being Dylan Treadway. Played against the Tarp Skunks on Sunday. That's his only appearance thus far, as the payoff pitch is fouled off down the third base line. With one down and nobody on, John Ondas looking to retire batter number 2 in the inning here in Caden Wilson. Payoff pitch comes upstairs for ball 4. So now 1 on, 1 down for these Ironbacks. And Jacksar Curry, Caden Wilson's college teammate and now Ironbacks teammate, will round out this order for the second time tonight. Our Curry grounded into fielder's choice his first time up. Ended up coming around to score. And takes strike 1 on the inside corner. Ondas had to check on Wilson at first base, who has a lead. He's scurrying forward, but it's ball 1. So 1's across the board again, and now a runner on first. He takes off on the 1-1 pitch, but the foul ball is going to send him right back. And the kids are going wild for that foul. The 1-2 pitch in just a moment here from Ondas. Sets, delivers. It's grounded right to the first baseman, Miller, out at first. And now the out at second for the double play. A quick double play for the Americans to wrap up the top of the 4th. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the 4th inning, and we want to remind everyone listening to the broadcast to follow us on all social media platforms. This season, you can connect with the Americans like never before with exclusive content on all social media. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Those ats are on your screen right now. As the Ironbacks will have Caleb Sagan on the bump after he relieved Ethan Wolf. Wolf goes 2 2/3, his final stat line. 6 hits allowed, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and just 1 strikeout. And it'll be Shane Prey up first here for the Americans on his at-bat in the 3rd inning. Chris Gazaldo was caught stealing second. So a fresh at bat here for the 3rd baseman. First pitch is driven up the middle into left center field, drops for the base hit. Shane Prey is on base to start off this 4th inning. It's the first time he's reached base tonight. And the 7th hit of the day for the Americans. And Alan Ramos will bat next. Went to a high school in the Bronx that produced 9 drafted MLB players. That's a pop foul over the first base stands. Another herd of kids chasing after that ball. Got one running very fast down the first base line right now in the bleachers. And ball on Ramos will even up the count at 1. 1 on, nobody out. The runner is Shane Prey, who led off the inning with a single. His first hit of the day. As Prey takes off for second, he will be there in time on ball 2. The throw sort of stalled a bit from catcher Brock Granger, but Shane Prey will slide safely into second with the steal. So now a runner in scoring position for Alan Ramos with nobody out and the count in his favor. Sagan now distracted by Prey, who has another lead, this time at second base. Alan Ramos looking for his first hit of the season, takes one upstairs for ball 3. 0 for 1 on the night. Sagan checks the runner again, and that is fouled back behind home plate. Lands somewhere behind the press box. And now a full count to Ramos with Prey on second. He's got a .300 on base percentage, and that will go up as Ramos takes first on the walk. Caleb Sagan meeting briefly here with Brock Granger as Tommy Mathay steps in with 2 runners on. Mathay 0 for 1 on the night. Had his first Americans hit last night at Auburn when he reached on an infield single. A hard hit ball. Reached base again later that night as well. Not a hit, but reached base multiple times in that Auburn game as he shows bunt. Misses his bat, but still in there for strike 1. Mathay, one of those Panola guys here for the Americans, had 14 RBIs over there. The RBI chance right here with Prey in scoring position. And he'll show another bunt. And now the throw to second, not in time from catcher Brock Granger. It's 2 strikes on Tommy Mathay. That was gunned to second base, but Prey was just quicker to get back to the bag and stay on base. Granger already threw out 1 runner tonight, and that is swung and missed on. Mathay goes down swinging. It's just the second American strikeout of the night. Now it's back to the top of the order with Grant Moore. 2 runners in scoring position for him. He was able to make it home himself back in the first inning. And takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. Prey is on second. Ramos walked to get to first. And Mathay just striking out for out number 1. Sagan checks the runner. That one a little too far outside and higher up for ball 1 to make it 1s across the board on Grant Moore. 1 for 2 on the night. Looking for his first RBI of the day. Here's the pitch. It's grounded. Picked up by Arcuri. Out at second, but not in time for the out at first. Grant Moore will reach on the fielder's choice as his runners on the corners now. A productive out by Moore. So Shane Prey making it into third. Alan Ramos tagged out at second. And Grant Moore safe at first with the opportunity to steal. Second base wide open for him as Ian Huang comes up and takes the inside ball.
Second baseman number 31, Ian Wang.
2 down and runners on the corners. Here's the pitch and finds the outside corner of the zone for strike one. Ian Huang was batting .375 heading into this game. Now 0 for 2 on the night. It's his third time up. Drives it on the line drive. It's caught by Caden Wilson for out number 3. So the Americans unable to plate any runs in this inning, but certainly some traffic on the base paths to continue to tire out the Ironbacks pitching staff. We'll head to the top of the 5th after the break. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Back for the top of the 5th, and this 5th inning is brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. All your heating and AC needs. Tropical Heating and Cooling is the spot. The Americans lead 5-3 as John Ondas will keep going. Had a couple of rough innings to start out, but has settled in here and will face the top of the order for the 3rd time today. Chase Hubble leads things off, followed by Marcus Butts and Alex Keene. Americans' inning ended with an Ian Huang line drive right to shortstop Caden Wilson. But Chase Hubble got hit in the head in the 2nd inning and has managed to remain in the game. Glad he's okay as he takes ball 1 outside. Here's the 1-0. And 2 balls now on the batter Hubble. Up the middle, that'll get through for the base hit. Ramos was heading over to field it, but gets through the middle infield of Huang and Ramos, and Chase Hubble with his 2nd knock of the night. Hubble has been on base every time up tonight. Single, hit by pitch, and now another single. So a single sandwich for him. And the first pitch to the number 2 hitter in this order, Marcus Butts, is in there for a strike. Ondas delivers on the 0-1. And now one strike away from retiring Marcus Butts. The extra hitter tonight has caught some games for the Ironbacks. Swing and a miss. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and down goes Marcus Butts for out number 1. John Ondas. I mean, he's given up some hits here and there, but since that second inning has been smooth sailing. Ondas on the night, 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, only 2 of those earned, and 4 walks. That's his 3rd strikeout. Or rather 4th. No, yeah, it is indeed his 3rd. My apologies, but ball 1 to Alex Keene, who has 1 of those strikeouts, also walked. Here's the 1-0, fouled off to make it ones across the board with the runner on first. That runner is Chase Hubble. He's had 2 leadoff hits in this game. Led off the 1st and now 5th innings with singles. Ondas delivers as Hubble heads towards second. The tag is in there for out number 2. So Nick Pass gunning out the base runner on ball 2. And it's now 2 down and the base is empty for the Ironbacks. Both catchers have had a successful night. Have caught at least 1 stealing. Granger almost had Shane Prey as well, but he was able to make it to second. As it's 3-1 now to Keene, the Moorhead State product. Only Division I player in this Ironbacks lineup will take the walk on just 5 pitches from Ondas, but he's the only runner on as Chase Hubble was thrown out at second base for out number 2. Andrew Bishop is up next, and despite being the cleanup hitter, was unable to do that with the bases loaded. 0 for 1 and drives that into deep right field. Mathey backing up. It's going. It bounces off the wall for the double as Alex Keene comes all the way home. The Ironbacks cut the lead to 1. It's 5-4. Andrew Bishop was slumping to start the year, but a big double to cut this lead to 1, and John Ondas giving up his 4th run. So Andrew Bishop came into this game batting 118. It was going even lower after those first couple of times up, but it's his first extra base knock of the season to make it 5-4 Americans. John Ondas looking to end this here as Carter Shin comes up and fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. Shin represents the go-ahead run for the Ironbacks, and the runner on second, Bishop, represents the tying run. In this top of the 5th inning, John Ondas hoping to hold on to this lead. The pitch is inside for a ball. Count is now even. Carter Shin, always a tough at bat, but came into this game batting just .214. Is 1 for 2 tonight, so that's gone up. Had the RBI double earlier in this game. Ondas checks back on Bishop, now delivers, and it's upstairs for another ball. Hitters count now for Carter Shin after an early strike 1 on the foul ball. Ondas delivers after checking the runner and appears to be a little bit divided in his attention as he throws ball 3 on the low outside corner. Bishop looking for third base and potentially more if there's a hit here. Shin drives it. Prey dives for it and loses it. And it's runners on the corners. On the infield single, a very hard hit ball by Carter Shin to put the second runner on for the Ironbacks. And that tying run in Andrew Bishop is now on third base. The go-ahead run is now on at first as Brock Granger, the team leader in batting average for the Ironbacks, comes up next. Also a 924 OPS. Looking for RBI number 4 here to tie up this game. It's a pitch that Nick Pass loses briefly, but runner will hold at third. It's ball 1 in the dirt. John Ondas has given up 4 runs already. If he gives up a 5th, this game is knotted at 5. The 1-0 pitch, way inside, gets away from Past. Runners go. And that is the tying run for the Ironbacks. It's 5-5 on the wild pitch from John Ondas. It's been back and forth in this game. Ironbacks led first in the first inning. Americans answered to make it 3-1. Ironbacks tied it up at 3. Americans charged back in the third inning, and now the Ironbacks tying it up again. So if you account for the ties in the ball game, there's been a number of lead changes here as strike 1 comes Brock Granger's way on the swing and miss. Now just 1 runner on. It's the runner on second, Carter Shin. Second time he's reached second base tonight. He had a double earlier in the game as Ondas checks on him. Now delivers. That is lined down the first base line, foul to even up the count at 2. It's 2s across the board. John Ondas, 1 strike away from getting out of this inning, but the Ironbacks have tied things up as Ondas has averaged 1 run allowed every single inning thus far. Upstairs and away to fill up the count. So full count, 2 outs, runner on second. Big moment for John Ondas. And here is Brock Granger looking to drive in the runner on second, but instead he'll take ball 4 upstairs to make it first and second. So now a meeting with John Ondas on the mound. His day may be done as there's some action in the Americans' bullpen, but we'll see what the call is from Will Cordero. Cordero, former MLB player, managing these Americans and has had great success thus far. Brought them to a 6-2 record. They're battling back and forth for win number 7 here against these Ironbacks here at Sal Magley. As the sun begins to set here, Ondas will hang in there. As I mentioned earlier, this Americans pitching staff a little bit worn out from this day 5 of a 6-day stretch of consecutive games. Robert Leach and John Ondas, the most well-rested pitchers here for these Americans. And the 2 expected to appear tonight. We'll see if there's any other pitchers brought in, but Leach expected to come in for Ondas at some point. As ball one goes outside to Bryce Bedrosian with 2 on and 2 out. Runner on second is Carter Shin representing the go-ahead run. Fouled off behind the plate to even up the count. And chat here on the broadcast is very active tonight. We'd like to thank all our fans for watching. And ball 2 goes up and away on Bedrosian. 2-1 count. Both runners have a lead. It's Shin and Granger. Swing and a miss to even up the count. 2s across the board once more. But last time this happened, it was ball 3 and 4 from Ondas to walk Brock Granger. The pitch fouled off as Bedrosian stays alive in the at-bat. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. But he was also the man to reach on an error and later score. Swing and a miss! And that is the second time Bryce Bedrosian has struck out tonight. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. John Ondas gets out of the inning despite giving up 2 runs. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the bottom of the 5th inning. And fans, do you or someone you know have a birthday coming up? Why not spend it here with the Americans? Packages include 10 tickets, 2 large Sammy's pizzas, 10 drinks, customized Wegmans cake, autographed Americans baseballs, and special recognition at the game starting at just $175. Sign up online at NiagaraFallsAmericans.com. Sponsored by Wegmans and Sammy's Pizza. And speaking of kids, Wegmans sponsors the kids run here at the end of the 5th inning. We'll keep it here to see if Yankee Doodle Dan will keep his undefeated record here in the kids run. And in this 5th home game of the season for the Americans, Yankee Doodle Dan looking to go to 4-0 once the kids run was rained out. That was on Sunday against the Tarp Skunks. But a 5-5 ball game here at Sal Magley. The Americans look to take back the lead after the Ironbacks have kept tying it. And Caleb Sagan will pitch in this inning to Nick Past, to Paul Delanto, and to Graydon Miller. John Ondas in that top of the 5th saw 7 batters. Inning ended with a Bryce Bedrosian strikeout. And here's the pitch from Sagan to Past. Goes for strike 1. And just a couple of innings ago, the Americans took a 5-3 lead, but the Ironbacks taking it back, or rather tying the game at 5 in that top of the 5th. So the 1-1 count, pitch from Sagan, is driven up the middle. That is going to, oh, the diving catch, but appears it was dropped. Yeah, Chase Hubble goes in for the diving play, but drops it. And now the Americans have a runner on. Nick Pass reaching base for the 2nd time tonight. It will be ruled a hit for the Americans. That's their 8th of the night. And I mean, what an effort by Chase Hubble to try and make that play, but most times that's going to drop in the outfield for a single that time. The attempt at the play made, but dropped as pass gets in safely to first base. Now Delanto with a strike and a ball on him as ball one goes in the dirt. Nick Past is 2 for 2 tonight. The pitch is popped up, and that is going to drop in the first base bleachers near one of our fans here at Sal Magley. And a kid climbing up into the stands to take the foul ball and should have the opportunity to exchange it for snacks as it goes here at Sal Magley Stadium. Delanto 1 for 1 and takes the inside, ball 2, to even up the count as Brock Granger will try for the pickoff of Nick Past at first base. This is his third time on base tonight. Walked and got 2 hits. Sagan delivers low to fill up the count. And we'd like to wish one of the operations managers here at the Americans, Emma Crocker, a happy early birthday. Her birthday coming up next Sunday. Been very active in our chat here as Nick Past will try for second base on that one, but it goes foul. So full count with nobody out and the runner on. Payoff pitch on the way in just a moment from Caleb Sagan. Some seagulls flying over the field as that one is popped up again down the first base line. Will drop out of play and into the big group of kids out in the picnic area down near the batting cages. Appears to be our anthem singers. Sagan still with a full count here. The pitch is inside for the ball, and it'll be a walk as Nick Past will now head towards third base. Granger trying to gun him out at second, but now runners on the corners as the throw goes errant on the walk. So it's a walk as well as an error on the Ironbacks. Past making it to third base on said error. And now it's Graydon Miller sends another one down into left field for the base hit. And coming in to score is Past. Delanto will hold up at second. The Americans take the lead back again, 6-5 in this back and forth ball game. The 9th hit of the night for Niagara Falls, the 2nd of the night for Graydon Miller. He's now singled and doubled. A very impressive night for him. Last night, snapped a 4-game hit streak for him, and he has bounced right back in his 6th game as an American. He's played all 6 of them at first base. Now Panaro up to bat, takes ball 1 outside. He had his first knock of the season earlier tonight. Came in that 3rd inning. As ball 2 goes to Panaro now. He's reached base twice tonight, had a walk early in this game. The pitch from Sagan with 2 on and nobody out in just a moment. He delivers. And now the 3-0 count. And Sagan checking back again. Delivers to Panaro. It's a 4-pitch walk, the second walk of the night for Carmen Panaro. The bases are now juiced for the Americans. To bring up Chris Gazaldo. Snapped out of a cold spell earlier tonight with his second hit in the last 12 at bats. So he's 1 for 2 tonight. And Panaro has now gone walk, single, walk in this game.
Stepping in for the Americans, the extra hitter number 42,
It's Chris Gazaldo, the extra hitter, up next. And Sagan will remain in the game to face him in this right-on-right matchup. Gazaldo, his first 3 games as an American, had multiple hits. And if he gets a knock here, that would be his 4th multi-hit game of the season. Strike 1 on the low edge of the zone right there, though. Bases loaded. Nobody out. So lots of ways to score some more runs here. One has already come in on the Graydon Miller knock earlier in this game. Graydon Miller with 3 RBIs tonight leads the team on the night. But Delanto up to 10 RBIs to lead the team this season. Delanto is now on third base as Gazaldo takes a pitch inside for ball 1. Delanto on third, Miller on second, and the recently walked Panaro on first base. With the 1-2 pitch to Gazaldo, it's driven into left field, and diving for the catch is the left fielder Briggs, but run will come in. And now runners advancing, but Panaro caught in a rundown. Some confusion here as the umpires wait to confirm a call on this play. So a run is in no matter what. It's just a matter of if there's an out. So it'll be 7-5 Americans. Umpires conferencing near the pitcher's mound. And they will call 1 out here. That out is Panaro. And they're going to say Miller's out as well, so it's 2 down for the Americans. Runner is on first base and 2 outs recorded. The run coming in, though. Shane Prey will be up with the runner on first. Here's the pitch. Will be upstairs for ball 1. So, couple of outs recorded in that rundown there, but ball 2 outside to Shane Prey. Prey on the night is 1 for 2. Alan Ramos, the shortstop, on deck. They have been a strong duo on the left side of the infield all night long. And that is driven into left field. It is going to drop for another hit. Shane Prey with his second of the night. Gazaldo heads into second base. And the Americans threatening to score some more here in this bottom of the fifth.
Now batting number 4, shortstop Alan Ramos.
And the official call on that previous play will be a single for Chris Gazaldo, as it's 1-0 to Ramos. So single for Chris Gazaldo and 2 outs recorded at second and third after the throw in. It's 1-1 to Ramos now, with 2 runners on and 2 down. Ramos still looking for that first Americans hit. He's been on base tonight, though. That's a inside ball, too. Ramos has walked. Came a couple innings ago. Or rather just last inning, but the hitter's count for him right now as the lights are on here at Sal Maglie. He drives it into right field, and Alex Keene will make the catch for out number 3, but the Americans score 2 after some confusion on those first 2 outs, but nonetheless, 7-5 lead for Niagara Falls. We head to the 6th inning after the break. Or rather, we'll keep it here for the Wegmans Kids Run.
Hey, we got a great tradition here at Sal Maglie, and that's the Wegmans Kids Run. We got a bunch of people down there with Yankee Doodle Dan, so take it away, Dan.
And here is Yankee Doodle Dan leading the Kids Run across the bases here at Sal Maglie. They'll run from first all the way to third, and Dan has a big lead right now. We'll see if a kid can catch him. Nope, Yankee Doodle Dan tags third base. He is now 4-0 with a high step on third. And it's a new pitcher here for the Americans as we begin the 6th inning. That pitcher is Robert Leach. Leach on the year has made 2 appearances, 1 out of the pen and 1 as a starter. And he has an ERA of 5.4. He's a 1-0 win-loss record and 4 strikeouts. And this 6th inning is sponsored by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Flavor's Local 91, and Wegmans, the proud sponsor of the Kids Run here at Sal Maglie. So Leach comes in for John Ondas after 5 innings and 5 runs allowed. 4 of those were earned runs, 1 coming on the error by the Americans. So, as you can see on your screen, 7 runs, 11 hits, and an error for the Americans, 5, 6, and 1 in those columns for the Ironbacks. And due up for the Ironbacks will be Grayson Briggs, Caden Wilson, and Jack Sarkuri, the bottom 3 in their order. Americans have had crooked numbers in 3 out of 5 innings tonight. 3 runs in the bottom of the first, 2 in the bottom of the third, and 2 in the bottom of the 5th. The odds have been lucky here for the Niagara Falls Americans. They have a 7-5 lead now. And after the last batter, Tommy Mathey, comes up in the bottom of this inning, Grant Moore will come up for the 4th time. in the bottom of the 6th. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Led off the game with a hit and 2 outs since then, but Moore leading this team in batting average at .464 amongst the qualified hitters. Evan Core is higher, but has not played in that many games. Ground ball, Prey will throw it all the way across the diamond and gets there for out number 1. Shane Prey had his breakout as a third baseman against these very Ironbacks, and he has been smooth sailing ever since. Another huge out by Shane Prey right there. An absolute stud out there at third base. So here's Caden Wilson, the first of 2 Jamestown Community College batters to finish out this Ironbacks order for the 3rd time tonight. Strike 1 taken from Leach. And now 0-2 in the count. Robert Leach, a product of St. John Fisher. The only player from that school here on the Americans, but definitely not the only one in the building. A lot of Americans interns come from that school, as it's a swing and miss for strike 3 and out number 2. And in just 4 pitches, Robert Leach has sent 2 Ironbacks packing. Leach has been very effective out of the bullpen this year. Did have a little bit of trouble when he was starting against the Tarp Skunks, but all year long has had some great stuff out there on the mound and records his 5th strikeout against these Ironbacks. Now 1 ball and 1 strike on the final hitter of the Ironbacks order, Jack Curry. Saw his teammate Caden Wilson swing and miss. See if he does the same here. Check swing, he went. It's strike 2 on Jack Curry now, so Robert Leach 1 strike away on just 7 pitches in the inning. Here it is, outside to make it 2-2. So Leach gonna have to wait just a bit here for out number 3. The 2-2 is in there on the bottom edge of the zone for strike 3. Robert Leach strikes out 2 straight to end the inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th after the break.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the 6th, and fans, do you or someone you know want to entertain a group here at the stadium? The Americans have plenty of options for that. We're able to offer fundraisers tailored to your group needs, nonprofits, churches, youth sports, and much, much more. For all group information, please visit the Americans website at NiagaraFallsAmericans.com. And Caleb Sagan still on the bump here for the Ironbacks here in this bottom of the 6th. Tommy Mathey, Grant Moore, and Ian Huang are due up to face Sagan in this 6th inning. And here's Tommy Mathey looking for his first knock of the night, 2nd of the year. His first came on an infield single last night at Auburn, but the Americans unable to come away with the win. They fell 6-3, got out hit 12-6. So the Double Days, ironically, doubling up the Americans in many different ways. last night, and with that win, doubled the season series record against these Americans. But it's 0-1 to Tommy Mathey. Outside for ball one to even up the count here. Mathey has struck out once. Looking to avoid a second one here against Sagan. That is fouled off. So not a lot of wiggle room here for Mathey, but he's been making for good at-bats every single time he comes up. Sagan has struck out one thus far tonight. That's fouled off. And almost heads into the press box, but ends up top here. Thankfully, no windows broken here in the Doug Smith press box after a close call on that foul ball. But that finds the strike zone. He'll go down for the second strikeout of his night. And both of those strikeouts were dealt by Caleb Sagan. The first coming in the fourth inning, and now another one in the sixth. Here's the top of the order for the Americans. Grant Moore shows bunt. That goes foul for strike one. Moore, 1 for 3 on the night. Scored after his single to lead things off in this game. Swing and a miss for strike two. Grant Moore came into this game batting .464 and with 7 RBIs. Takes one upstairs and stays alive in this at-bat. Moore looking to avoid his first strikeout of the night. Only Gazaldo and Mathey have whiffed for the Americans, and there's a fly ball into left center field. It'll be caught for out number 2 by Chase Hubble. Chase Hubble has been managing to hang in there after getting hit in the head, and has had some great moments out in center field for the Ironbacks. But here's Ian Huang. He'll bat from the left side of the plate to face the righty Sagan. One of the only switch hitters on this Americans team. Actually, the only switch hitter. .375 hitter, .944 OPS. Avery Vogt, our color commentator, claiming to be the other switch hitter on the team. But we'll have to put that to the test on one of our off days here this season. Clarifying, he's a switch hitter because he's switched out every time he comes up to bat. But it's 0-1 to Ian Huang right here. Now the count even at 1. And Avery has shifted over to the DJ role tonight. He'll be back on the broadcast at the next Americans home game against the Tarp Skunks. And it's 2-1. Avery excited to come back on Wednesday. But 2-1 pitch is fouled off by Huang to make it 2s across the board with nobody on for these Americans. And if this goes on, the pattern of runs in this game will continue for Niagara Falls. They have scored in all of the odd innings and put up a donut in all the even ones. But it's working. They're up 7-5. Pop up will head foul. And the reason it's working so well is because every time they have an inning where they put up runs, it's come in bunches. 3 in the first inning, 2 in the third inning, and 2 in the fifth. Here's the pitch outside for ball 3. So full count. here on Ian Huang. Spent his freshman year at Niagara, now looking to gain steam in the transfer portal. And that walk will certainly help. Ball 4 for Ian Huang. He is the first base runner of the inning and brings up Nick Past, who is 2 for 2 on the night. Also walked. He has scored all 3 times he's come up to bat tonight. So 3 of the 7 runs plated by the Americans knocked in Nick Past. Still doesn't have an RBI yet, but a big hit here could bring him his first. Strike 1 for now, though. As Sagan is over 3 full innings of work now. Foul ball into right field by Past, and 1 strike away is Caleb Sagan. Huang has a lead at first base. 0-2 pitch on the way. Way outside for the ball. And Huang slides safely into second. And it's a wild pitch by Caleb Sagan. As running sound effects fill the stadium for Ian Huang's excellent base running. And now he has a big lead at second as well. And that one grounded to Wilson at short will be complete for out number 3 to Bishop at first base. Americans go down without scoring a run in this 6th inning, but their pattern of crooked numbers and then donuts continues. They lead 7-5 as we head to the 7th inning after the break. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Back for this 7th inning. And the 7th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is sponsored by Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stalka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. Red Robin, the sponsor of our baseball buddies here at Sal Magley Stadium, joined the Americans out on the field when lineups were being announced at the beginning of the game, and their baseball buddies have joined them on a good night at the plate. They've plated 7 runs in 6 innings as Chase Hubble will start things off here in the top of the 7th against Robert Leach. Americans had some traffic on the base paths in the form of Ian Huang, but unable to score any in that 6th inning as ball 1 goes in the dirt to Chase Hubble. Hubble, 2 for 2 on the night, also got hit on the head. Oh, another one almost hitting him right there. Gotta be careful, but 2 balls and no strikes as Hubble manages to dodge that one. Pitch from Leach, swing and a miss. So Robert Leach with his first strike of the inning. Gets Hubble to go on that one. Hubble still has the hitter's count. But he'll take another strike down the pike from Leach. Surprised Hubble didn't take a swing at that one, but after the whiff, maybe a little more patience shown. Foul ball behind the plate. Goes into the net. The kids are disappointed. They were hoping to get a ball. One of our better turnouts of the season here at Sal Magli as the high chopper heads towards second base. Hwang to Miller for out number 1. So Leach has been smooth sailing through these first 4 outs recorded after he came in to begin the 6th inning. Marcus Butts is up next. And fitting walk-up song here at Sal Magli. I like big butts. And the pitch from Leach goes in there for strike 1. Marcus Butts looking for his first hit tonight. He's struck out and is 0 for 3. That foul ball heads down the first base line, and kids looking for the snack exchange here as Butts has an 0-2 count. A wild pitch, but doesn't matter as no base runners are on here. So 1-2 as Butts looks for his first knock. He does have a 857 OPS on the year headed into this game. But now the count even at 2-2. The pitch from Leach is driven up the middle for a base hit, and Butts is on for the first time tonight. His foot on the bag as he has the base hit. First base runner of this 7th inning, and the first hit allowed by Robert Leach this entire game. So it'll be Alex Keene up next. Keene 0 for 1 with 2 walks. First pitch from Leach, swung and missed on. A 12-6 slider gets him. The 0-1, swing and a miss again. Leach is bringing the heat tonight. Now an 0-2 count on Keene. Keene has struck out once already. John Ondas punched him out. And now Leach looking to way outside for the wild pitch. And taking second base after the walk is Marcus, or rather the single, is Marcus Butts. Butts now in scoring position. And Alex Keene represents the tying run for these Ironbacks if they're able to get something going here in the 7th inning. But Leach had a scoreless 6, looking to keep it that way here in the 7th. But an outside ball 2. As Marcus Butts is now on second base. Leach checks on Butts, who has a big lead, is in a little bit of a battle with Alan Ramos, the shortstop, but Keene will foul off that one behind the plate to keep himself alive in this at-bat. Game of chicken between Butts and Ramos near second base. As Butts takes his lead again on the 2-2 pitch, and now the count is full as that goes right over the middle of the righty batter's box for ball 3. And with the full count, Robert Leach gonna have to focus in on his batter despite Butts on second. The pitch is tipped foul behind the dish. So another speeding pitch from Leach, but Keene gets a piece of it. Very competent hitter. He came into this game batting .263, but .309 with a .994 OPS over at Morehead State. And that's a Division I school, so very impressive numbers for Keene back at college. Looking to improve upon his Ironbacks numbers. Game of chicken continues as this one is popped up and is going to head behind home plate. Kids chasing after it again. They have just really brought the life into Sal Magley Stadium here tonight. As well as some great baseball on the diamond as the sun sets on a beautiful night for baseball. In there for strike 3 on the outside corner. Keene goes down looking. It's out number 2 for Robert Leach. And Andrew Bishop will be up next for these Ironbacks. 1 for 2 on the night. An extra base hit earlier tonight for the RBI. Chopper heads towards the second baseman, Huang, and that'll be in there for the out at first. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th after the break. The Americans hold off the Ironbacks, keep the lead at 7-5. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the 7th inning after the 7th inning stretch here at Sal Magley. And we'd like to remind everyone watching that the Americans would love to partner with your business. You can have your business read right here on the broadcast as part of our ad reads. There's lots of options to make your presence known in your community. Please visit our website at NiagaraFallsAmericans.com to get involved, and go Americans. So Caleb Sagan will keep pitching. He's pitched 3 1/3 so far. That's more than the starter, Ethan Wolf. So almost serving as the bulk reliever here. And Paul Delanto will start things off here for Niagara Falls in the bottom of the 7th. The Americans looking to go up to 3-0 in this battle for the Falls. As ball 1 goes low. The Americans slightly closer to the Falls themselves than the Ironbacks. Ironbacks out in St. Catharines, Ontario. As that's way inside. Delanto almost had to duck that one, as it's 2-0 to him. Pitch from Keene. In there on the outside corner to make it 2-1. Americans looking for some insurance to their 7-5 lead. The Ironbacks have had a way of tying things up time and time again. As ball 3 goes in the dirt, gets past Granger. Empty bases. So no damage done aside from the ball, but the pitch goes way inside. It's a walk in just 5 pitches. Delanto is on first base to start this bottom of the 7th. And Graydon Miller has had quite the night for himself. 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. He's up to the plate for the 4th time. Here's the pitch. Upstairs for the ball. Miller a single and a double. And RBIs number 5, 6, and 7 coming in this game for him. Chasing after Paul Delanto is up to 10, and that is flown into foul territory in left field. It'll go out of play with 3 fielders chasing after it, those being Wilson, Bedrosian, and Briggs. Third baseman, shortstop, and left fielder for the Ironbacks. 1 ball, 1 strike. In this 4th at bat for Graydon Miller. Miller, one of a handful of 2024 returnees for the Americans. Had an OPS of 832 a year ago, looking to chase that with a big game tonight. And it's 2-1 to him on the inside ball. Miller takes the 2-1 upstairs, and the count well in his favor. We'll see if he gets the green light from Will Cordero. The 3-1 pitch on the way, and he will indeed swing. It's a pop-up right to the first baseman, Andrew Bishop, for out number 1. So Graydon Miller, the first batter retired of the inning. That swing unable to advance Paul Delanto. But here's Carmen Panaro. He'll have the next chance to advance the runner. Has reached base all 3 times up tonight. He's 1 for 1, 2 walks, and an RBI. One of a handful of Niagara University players here on these Americans. The latest being tonight's starting pitcher, John Ondas, who signed with the team after Toshinari Kurakawa returned to Japan. We wish him the best after his few weeks here in Niagara Falls. But 2-0 to Panaro. He drives that into right field. It's going deep, and it's going to drop in for the hit. Panaro headed towards second, and Delanto will be told to hold up at third. It's a double by Carmen Panaro. Bounces off the wall, and that is 12 hits for the Americans. Sagan will have a meeting on the mound with his infield. Brock Granger, the catcher. And now the Ironbacks coaching staff coming in to join. This could be it. There's action in the bullpen, and now a pitcher coming out. Caleb Sagan's day is done after 3 2/3. Some great work for the Ironbacks tonight. Just 2 earned runs compared to Ethan Wolf's 5. And we'll have a new pitcher. We'll get you word on who it is in just a moment, as Caleb Sagan finishes his day. And in his first outing as an Ironback, 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. And we'll get you word on the pitcher is after this meeting on the mound clears. This will be the 3rd pitcher into the game for the Ironbacks. Wolf went 2 2/3. Sagan, another 3 2/3. And the new pitcher is Aiden Bray. Bray last appeared against the Muck Dogs on June 8th, this past Sunday. He's 1-0 on the season with a 2.08 ERA and 2 strikeouts. a member of the NAIA at Corbin University in Oregon. And all Americans fans here at the ballpark will get their free McCafe frappes after the Americans scored 3 runs in just the first inning of action. It's 2 runners in scoring position now as the Americans looking to tack on some insurance to their 2-run lead. Panaro just doubled for his first extra base hit of the season. And now at third is Paul Delanto. Started off this inning with his second walk of the day. So the full play-by-play so far here in this bottom of the 7th. A walk by Delanto, a pop-up in foul territory by Graydon Miller, and now a double by Carmen Panaro as Chris Gazaldo comes up to bat for the Americans. He's 2 for 3 tonight, his 4th multi-hit game of the season already, and now looks for hit number 3 of the night. The pitch gets in there on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. 1 down and 2 runners in scoring position as Chris Gazaldo looking to boost his numbers on an already great 2 for 3 night. And that one gets away from catcher Brock Granger. Runners will go. 1 run scores, and holding up at third is Carmen Panaro. The Americans now up 8-5. And we'll wait for the call on wild pitch or pass ball right there. It's a wild pitch by Aiden Bray. Just a couple of pitches into his appearance for the Ironbacks here. That is a hard hit foul behind the plate on the right side. Gazaldo with a big swing on that one for strike 2. Made contact, just foul territory, and drives another one foul, this one into the stands. Along the third baseline, some screams, both manufactured and real here at Sal Magley. As Aiden Bray hopes to avoid more trouble here for the Ironbacks. It's a swing and miss by Gazaldo. That's out number 2. Aiden Bray with his first punch out of the night and his 3rd of the season. But still a runner on third for the Americans. And Shane Prey will be up next. Another one of the 5 Americans with at least 2 hits tonight in that club with past Miller, Panaro, and Gazaldo. Strike 1 finds the outside corner. Shane Prey, 2 for 3. Came into the game already with a high batting average of .294. Will be well above 300 after this game. And he has a 1-1 count with a runner on his own base, third base. The 1-1 pitch from Bray is popped up. And it's going to drop in the shallow outfield. Shane Prey will reach first. And the run will score. Americans lead 9-5. Most people are working 9-5, but the Americans are leading 9-5 on the single by Shane Prey, his 3rd hit of the night. Alan Ramos up next. And Alan Ramos 0 for 2 with a walk. Looking to join the party here for the Americans as he takes strike 1. And all but 3 Americans have recorded a hit tonight, those 3 being Huang, Ramos, and Mathay. Pitch is outside to even up the count at 1 with 2 down. The only runner on now is Shane Prey at first base. Had that weird pop-up single into the shallow outfield to score the run for the Americans. That runner was Carmen Panaro, who had the double earlier tonight. And it's 2-1. Delanto scoring earlier on a wild pitch by Aiden Bray. It was the same wild pitch that sent Panaro to third, and then that strange single sending him home. And there's a strike. Finds the bottom edge of the zone. And it's 2s across the board. Balls, strikes, outs. Alan Ramos. The Wagner commit. Looking to get off to a good start here in his collegiate summer career and eventually college career as the count fills up with 2 down. Aiden Bray has already seen 2 runs score while he's been on the mound. Those runs were charged to Caleb Sagan, so he now has 4 earned runs to Bray's 0 and Wolf's 5. But the payoff pitch here is low for ball 4, and Ramos walking for the second time tonight. Sends Prey to second base. Tommy Mathey, the right fielder, the final hitter in this Americans order, up for the 4th time tonight. He's 0 for 3, has struck out his last 2 times up, 1 swinging, 1 looking. Both of those strikeouts were delivered by Caleb Sagan. So we'll see how the lefty responds to the now left-handed pitcher on the mound, Aiden Bray, as it's a wild pitch. Runners will go. It's 2 in scoring position now on ball 1 to Tommy Mathey with 2 down. The Americans can really blow this out of proportion if Tommy Mathey can get on base here and drive in some runs. And even if it's just a walk, Grant Moore would be up next. The leadoff hitter and one of the best hitters in this Americans order, as strike 1 finds the outside corner to even up the count on Tommy Mathey. Mathey, 296 hitter at Panola, came into this game 167 here. Looking to get that up. And that is driven into left field on the fly ball. It's caught by Briggs for out number 3. So the runners stranded at second and third, but the Americans cash in for 2 runs, and their pattern of crooked numbers in the odd innings continues. It's 9-5 Americans. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the 8th inning here at Sal Magley, and the Americans lead 9-5 here on the Americans Baseball Network. This 8th inning is sponsored by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. And Sweet Caroline playing here in the 8th inning at Sal Maglie Stadium, a tradition I always love here as a Red Sox fan. I will never not mention it. And Carter Shin will start things off for the Ironbacks here in this inning. He will be followed up by Brock Granger and Bryce Bedrosian. And Shin is 2 for 3 on the day. Increased his .214 batting average headed in and pops it up. And now Ramos going to have to give me more of a fly ball. Rather, it's going to drop. And the throw to second base, a little bit errant. Safe at second is Carter Shin. He gets the hit. In fact, he gets the double on that one. It's been a lot of strange hits here at Sal Maglie. These balls that have appeared to be shallow pop-ups have gone a little bit deeper in these late innings. Shane Praise dropping in the shallow outfield for a base hit, and Carter Shin gets 2 bases on his. It's his second double of the night. He's been a doubles machine. And he is 3 for 4, and now a pinch runner, Keanu Cali, will take over for him.
Pinch running for the Ironbacks, number 8, Keanu Kelly. Now batting number 20, the catcher, Brock.
And Brock Granger, the catcher, will bat next. Cali, a .267 hitter, so if he has to hit tonight, should provide some pop here for the Ironbacks, but it's ball 1 upstairs to the new batter, Brock Granger, with a runner in scoring position. Granger came into this game leading the team in batting average, 0 for 2 on the night with a walk. The 1-0 from Leach after he checks the runner is swung on foul to even up the count. Robert Leach in his 3rd inning of work here, and it's been squeaky clean so far. Just 2 hits allowed, 3 strikeouts, and 0s on the scoreboard. As Keanu Cali had a lead at second, but now a meeting between Past and Leach. And they are going to see what their strategy is going to be here on the 1-1 count to Brock Granger. The Ironbacks' own catcher, both catchers, fun fact, wearing number 20 tonight. Nick Pass for the Americans, Brock Granger for the Ironbacks. Granger has also seen some time at first base for the Ironbacks, as well as in the DH or extra hitter slots, but hurrying back to second base is Cowley on the pickoff attempt that will be unsuccessful by Robert Leach. Cowley, the latest runner on second in a game of chicken with Alan Ramos. And it's a low ball 2 to the batter, Granger. And the sun is pretty much fully set here at Sal Maglie. Lights are bright in more ways than one, as ball 3 goes outside to Brock Granger. Granger looking for his first hit of the night, looking to reach base for the second time. And there's a dribbler. Prey will pick it up, throw to first in time for the out. But advancing to third is Keanu Cali. It's a pretty productive out here for the Ironbacks. And Cali close to coming home here as Bryce Bedrosian comes up to bat. Bedrosian 0 for 3, reached on the error and scored, but has also struck out twice. Pitch from Leach. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Swing and a miss now playing here at the stadium. Bedrosian, one of those strikeouts coming against John Ondas, and actually both coming against Ondas, but 2 strikes from Leach now as Leach looks for his 3rd strikeout of the night. Or rather 4th. And Leach with the 0-2 count, looking to finish this off for the second out of the inning. Here it is, upstairs for ball 1. And that out number 2 will have to wait just a moment here. Leach sets, now delivers. And that is lined to Alan Ramos, right into his glove for out number 2. So no strikeout, but the out comes anyways. And Keanu Cali holding up at third base. And not many outs that can do that with the runner on third. A ground out would have likely scored Cali. A deep fly out likely would have, but those pop outs and line outs are a big help to pitchers like Robert Leach in this moment, as that finds the outside corner of the zone for strike 1 on Grayson Briggs. Briggs tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk, just like Brock Granger was headed into that at bat earlier. It's 1-1 with Cali on third. Pitch from Leach. Swing and a miss. There's been a lot of whiffs that Leach has forced tonight. He's got some great swing and miss stuff out on the hill for these Americans. Here's a foul tip. Behind the plate by Briggs. Grayson Briggs, an attendee of Hawking Community College. Batted .282 with an .826 OPS over there. Gets ready for the 1-2 from Robert Leach. That is upstairs for ball 2. Leach looking to wrap things up here in this top of the 8th inning. And it's a soft dribbler, or chopper rather, and the throw to first is in time for out number 3. Americans will send it to the bottom of the 8th with a 9-5 lead. Looking to expand on that. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks,
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the 8th inning, and Aiden Bray will keep pitching for these Ironbacks. Third pitcher of the game for them, Caleb Sagan. With the most innings of work, Ethan Wolf started and had just 2 2/3 innings to his name. As Grant Moore will come up to bat to lead off the inning here in the bottom of the 8th. And Grant Moore is 1 for 4 on the night, looking for hit number 2 here at Sal Magley. Led off with a single. Be fitting to have one on at bat number 5 as well, a bookender, ideally, if the Americans can finish this off in 8.5. But ball 1 to Moore. Now the 1-0 is grounded foul to even up the count. And Grant Moore, one of the most consistent forces in this Americans lineup all season long. And we'll drive that into left center field. It'll drop for another hit. Grant Moore on base with his 2nd single of the day. He came around to score on the last one. We'll see if that happens here in this 8th inning. Grant Moore now 2 for 5 as Ian Huang comes up to bat, looking for his first hit of the night. Been in a little bit of a slump since his 4 for 5 opening night against Batavia, but did have the double at Auburn last night. His 2nd double of the year. First pitch from Bray is low. So the 1-0 pitch on the way in just a moment. He'll check first base. No out there. Ian Huang, 2 doubles in his 6 total hits. The other 4 were singles on the season. And that'll bounce at the plate for the wild pitch. Moore will take second. Thought about third, but he'll hold up. Grant Moore looking to add to his steal total. Came into this game with 11. But no steal there as it's a wild pitch by Bray. He's had multiple of those tonight. And now the 2-0 coming to Wang as Moore takes off for third. And this time he'll get the stolen base, as it's 3-0 for Grant Moore's 12th stolen bag of the year. Wang now looking to drive in Moore on third base. But that is in there on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Well in the strike zone, but a bit far from Huang. So smart not to swing at that as he takes ball 4 to make it runners on the corners. And here's Nick Past up next. Past, one of those 5 Americans, or rather 6, with multiple hits tonight. Strike 1, again on the outside part of the plate. Bray has liked that area. That is the 2nd consecutive right-hander he'll face, as Huang batted righty to face the left-handed Bray. Swing and a miss to make it 0-2. And Aiden Bray has 2 strikes on Nick Past, who's looking for his 3rd hit of the night. Would reach for the 4th time. He's also walked. And the 0-2 is sent to Past, and that is flown into the outfield for out number 1. Moore will hold up at third base on what wasn't all that deep of a fly ball. So, but Grant Moore noticeably a little bit more careful on the base path since he was caught stealing a couple of games ago. He did get that steal just now, but has shown some caution for sure. As Paul Delanto comes up next to face Bray. And the pickoff attempt at first base is unsuccessful. Hwang in there safely after the walk. Moore has taken 2 bags in this inning, 1 on a wild pitch, 1 on a steal. And here's another one, finds the bottom edge of the zone for the strike. So the 0-1 count now on Delanto. And he's just 1 for 1 tonight, looking to join that multi-hit club. Had a couple of walks, though. Upstairs for ball 1. So the 1-1 count. Bray delivers inside and gets away momentarily from the catcher, Brock Granger, but runners will hold. It's 2-1. Grant Moore already scored in the first inning after his single. Can he do it again here in the 8th? Hwang on first, he's on third. And Delanto up to bat. The pitch will be inside as Delanto steps away from it. Ball 3. Americans have 14 knocks on the day. Delanto going to be number 15. Pitch from Bray. Finds the inside corner to fill up the count. Delanto with the opportunity on this full count to either take his 3rd walk of the day or add a second hit. Hopefully will not strike out here on this full count. Here's the payoff pitch. That is sent down the first base line in foul territory. Delanto had a couple of strikeouts the game after his home run, has certainly cleaned up the act since. Has made for some good at-bats over these last couple of games and has not been retired yet tonight. Bray looking to do it for the first time on the payoff pitch. It's fouled off. So Paul Delanto extending this at-bat longer and longer. It's been 7 pitches to him as Ian Hwang is going to have to jog back to first base. He was headed towards second on the full count pitch. And here's pitch number 8 of the at-bat from Aiden Bray. He sets and now delivers after a wait. It's in there for strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. Paul Delanto on a close call will go down looking. And runners remain on the corners as Graydon Miller comes up. Arguably been the MVP tonight for these Americans. 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. One of those hits was a 2-run double. Miller. Plenty of experience here at Sal Magley. And looking to add another hit, but flies it in foul territory. Right field, that'll drop. Despite Bishop, Arcuri, and Keene all chasing after it. The entire right side of this Ironbacks defensive alignment here. And on those foul balls, you have not seen the center fielder Chase Hubble chasing after any of them. He's saving his energy for those deep fly balls. So the 0-1 count. And here's the pitch outside to even it up. Americans looking to add even more insurance after they scored a couple in the 7th. It would break their pattern of odd inning runs and crooked numbers in those odd innings. Bray sends one Miller's way. He swings and misses for strike 2. Graydon Miller looking to avoid his first strikeout of the night. The Americans have kept it in control tonight, only struck out as a team a total of 5 times. And that is upstairs in this back and forth battle between Miller and Bray. It's 2s across the board. Ball strikes outs, and what do you know? 2 runners on base in this bottom of the 8th. And Bray checking on his base runners. Now delivers in there in the low inside corner. That inside part of the plate has been a popular one for this home plate umpire. And that'll wrap up the inning. And the Americans strand 2 on the pond as we head to the 9th inning. We'll be right back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the 9th inning here at Sal Magley, and Nolan Jackson will come in relief of Robert Leach after 3 clean innings. A great night for Leach to lower his ERA that was at 5.40 headed into this game. But this 9th inning is sponsored by Casella, by Salino Plumbing, by Blaze Brockway Contracting, and by Wright Beverages. Come to the beer garden along the third base line to get all your alcoholic beverages. Proudly sponsored by Wright. And Nolan Jackson coming in for Leach. An interesting pattern for Robert. He has yet to give up a run out of the bullpen. All 3 of his earned runs on the year have come in his start on Tuesday against the Tarp Skunks. But only went 3 innings there, was able to come in here on somewhat short rest for another 3 innings. And there were 3 quick ones. Nolan Jackson comes in relief on the season. Jackson has a 10.80 ERA, has struck out 1. His last appearance came on Tuesday as well against those Tarp Skunks. The Tarp Skunks will be back here at Sal Magley on Wednesday. First pitch for that one will be at 6:30. That's the next Americans home game. But first, 2 on the road. 1 at the Pioneers tomorrow. First pitch at Dunfield will be at 4 p.m. And then a 6:30 game in Newark on Tuesday. We'll have all the coverage for all 3 of those games right here on the Americans Baseball Network, as Carter Shin will kick things off here for the Ironbacks in the 9th inning. Or rather, it's a pinch hitter. Nolan Phelan. So Nolan Phelan coming into the game for Caden Wilson, rather. Pitch from Jackson is in the outside corner for strike 1. A lot of these Americans relievers have had success from painting the corners. You've seen it from Carter Hall, you've seen it from Joe Chaya, and now seeing it from Nolan Jackson. Swing and a miss for strike 2. As Nolan Phelan up for the first time in this game, batting .333 on the year. He's primarily played outfield as he grounds it to Ramos at shortstop. Throw to first is in time for out number 1. So 3 pitches and not a strikeout by Jackson, but a ground out on the 6-3 Ramos to Miller to retire the pinch hitter Phelan.
Stepping in second baseman number 28, Jack Arcuri.
And now Jack Sarkuri, the second baseman, the regularly scheduled hitter here for the Ironbacks, came into this game batting .333. 0 for 3 on the night, has lowered that, but he did come in to score on one. Now a ground ball sent to second base, swaying to Miller, and it's 2 consecutive ground outs on 2 consecutive pitches. 2 up, 2 down here for these Ironbacks in this top of the ninth. Nolan Jackson looking to finish things off here for these Americans without a scratch. And it's back to the top of the order for Niagara, Canada. It's Chase Hubble up next as the Americans look to come out victorious once again in this Battle of the Falls. USA versus Canada. It's ball 1, though, to Chase Hubble. Pitch from Jackson is grounded to Ramos, sent to first base, and will retire the third out of the inning, third batter of the inning, rather, to end the game. The Americans win it 9-5 over the Ironbacks. And like I said earlier, most people are working 9 to 5. The Americans are winning 9-5 as they snap a 2-game skid. They got swept by the Doubledays. Now win number 7 of the season coming over the Ironbacks. They're 3-0 in the season series. And all I do is win, playing over the speakers here at Sal Magley. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow as the Americans look to make it a second in a row at the Pioneers. First pitch will be at 4 o'clock from Dunn Field. And we'll have all the coverage right here on the Americans Baseball Network. But for now, that's all for Americans Baseball. I've been your play-by-play broadcaster, Andrew Roberts. I'll be back on the call tomorrow in Elmira. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Final score from Niagara Falls, Americans 9, Ironbacks 5. USA over Canada. The Americans remain victorious in this battle for the Falls.